Well, welcome back, Writing Workshop, to another virtual day. Not my favorite things in the world, but we can make lemonade out of lemons here. Just like yesterday, if you haven't done so already, feel free to pause this video, say a prayer for your learning today. Otherwise, I will briefly lead you through what you should be working on today. Alright, continuing here. So our objective for today is to start evaluating sources for research. We practiced this a little bit when we played Source Horse last week, but now that you guys have topics to research, we might as well start digging through the internet to find sources that'll be helpful for us to actually research and write on these topics. So right now you're watching the updates video today. I'm going to try to keep this one pretty short. I do want to walk you through this research log that you see in today's lesson folder to get you started there. Be aware, I'm asking you not to rush through this thing. We will take a little bit of time in class this week to work on research logs as well. I'd like to start looking at them in the upcoming weekend. So if we can get this done by end of Friday the 21st, that should set us up to outline our essays next week. So inside of today's lesson folder, you're watching our updates video now, you'll see an assignment called Controversies and Conspiracies Research Log. Now this one is set up as a OneDrive assignment, just like our college application essay outline was, so you have your own copy that you can fill in here. If you click on your document itself, my view looks a little bit different from yours, but I'll just click on it here so we can see what it looks like. So, as it says, please use the spaces below to record titles, authors, and URLs for any sources you might find useful for your research essay. The key word here is might, so you're likely going to find more sources than you actually need for your essay itself. It does say that your final essay only needs to cite 4 or more sources in total. I think I've given you enough space to find 11 on this document, so certainly you're going to find some sources that look helpful at first, but maybe by the end of your essay you end up not using them. That's totally fine. I want you to be able to use this as a space to collect your findings so far. I have divided this one up into 3 pages. So the first page is just sources that contain general background information or history about your topic. So for instance, the topic that I'll be using is should students be allowed to use cell phones in schools? I might want to find just some background info, some stats. How many students, for instance, have a cell phone in the first place? Like having that kind of statistical background might be helpful, especially for the introduction of my essay. I could look up history. How long have students had cell phones in schools? How long has this been a debate or a problem? Again, I've given enough space for up to 3 sources there. You might not end up using all of your sources, but I want to see that you're finding at least 1 or 2 that are good for providing some context about your topic, your debate, your conspiracy theory in general. The second page is sources that support a pro stance towards your topic. So for instance, if my question is, should students be able to use cell phones in school? The pro stance would say, yes, they should, and here's why. So I'll want to see if I can find a source in a moment here that would be helpful. Again, I'll want to record its title, its author, and its URL. Third page got cut off by 1, which is a little bit weird. Sources that support a con stance, so the flip side of my topic as well. Should students be able to use cell phones in school? I want to find a couple of sources that make the no argument, and here's why they shouldn't. I'm actually going to do some digging to see if I can fill that in real briefly. When it comes to conspiracy theories, one side could certainly be, okay, here's what's generally accepted about the conspiracy theory. I'll use JFK as an example. So the generally accepted theory is that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. There was one assassin, and he was apprehended for it. On the flip side, that's where you get some of the other theories, that there were 2 shooters. If you're doing a conspiracy theory, you can subdivide into as many theories as you want. You can talk about, okay, was the mafia involved? Were the Russians involved? You can really subdivide your body paragraphs that way, but we want to see that you're finding multiple perspectives. For Bigfoot, as another example, if the question is, does Bigfoot exist? The pro side would be, yes, he exists, or it exists, and here's some evidence why. The con side would be, no, Bigfoot doesn't exist, and here's some of the reasons why. Here's some of the debunking evidence. Just some things to think about for y'all. So let's say I want to find some sources for myself. I want to look up cell phones in schools first. So if I put like cell phone usage in schools, I just want to see if I can find a background article first. And I just realized I'm on Bing. I like Google better, so what if I looked up something like history of cell phones in school? That one's a sponsored one, so I'm going to scooch down a little bit. The evolution of a cell phone policy. Interesting. I want to look at this. So it looks like this was written by a school principal. Okay, might be interesting. So this is talking about an individual school right here. So it's talking about COVID, embracing hybrid learning, sharp rise in discipline referrals. Notice that I'm just kind of skimming this to see if it's helpful. I don't know if I like that one as much. Let's look up another one. This one's from December 4th, 2011. Probably a little bit too old for what I want. September 25th, 2024. Interesting. The surprising history of cell phones for kids. Now this one looks a lot more interesting. Create and learn team. Doesn't have an author, but it might still be useful. Let me look. Okay, so it goes back to car phones in the 80s, first cell phones in the 90s, first smartphones, 1992, smartphones and apps, 2000s to today. So I might specifically use this part of the article. Android, Apple. I don't know if that goes as far as I want. Let's keep going. Look at state efforts to ban cell phones in schools. KFF.org. What is this? It does have authors, which I like. What is this organization? I'm not sure what KFF is, but it might still be useful regardless. How widespread are schools' cell phone bans? So I like that this article has facts and statistics and dates as well. I don't know if I'll use this in my full essay yet, but I'm still going to copy paste its URL, Control-C. I'll go into my research log, and I would probably put this under background, right? So it's got a title. I'll type its title in. This is a long title. I might just use the first several words. A look at state efforts to ban cell phones would be the title. Its authors are Nurmita Panchal and Sasha Zitter. I would write those in. And then I could copy paste its URL right here. I would have my first source. Let's say I want to do the same for pros and cons. What if I did something like students should be allowed to use cell phones in school? I'll just use one stance right there. I don't want anything AI. And I found this one. 10 reasons why cell phones should be allowed in schools. Let's see what they got to say. Don't love that it's a .io website, but it does seem to have a good list of strategies right here. Does it have an author? Just a first name author. So maybe, maybe not. For the sake of time, I'm going to keep it for now. So again, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. I would probably put this on a pro stance type page. Let's try the same for why they should not. Students should not have phones in school. I've clearly searched this before. Mental health awareness education. What's this one? Has an author, October 28th, 2024, fairly recent. Why I support banning cell phones in schools. Citing Jonathan Haidt is a good start. The Anxious Generation puts some really good statistics on why cell phones should not be used in schools. Seems to have a variety of arguments as to why cell phones should not be used in schools. This is a huge article, actually. Let's say I like it. Again, Control C, Control V. I'll probably put this on a con stance, why students should not be allowed to use phones in schools, and so on. Grading wise, I am treating this one as completion. So I want to see that you're finding at least a couple sources for each of these areas of your research essay. So again, general background information or history about your topic. At least a couple of sources that establish a pro stance towards your topic. At least a few for the con side as well. Again, you can certainly add more than 11 on this if you like, but your final essay only needs to cite 4 or more. We'll cover more about citation as we get to outlining for this thing in the coming weeks. I have noticed that not all of you have selected a topic yet. That is step 1 today. You can't find sources for your topic if you don't have a topic. Take a look at our discussion from yesterday to see if I have okayed your topic as well. I did take a look at those this morning just to make sure that I've okayed the ones that have been asked for so far. The only topics that I know are off limits so far would be my own topic, cell phones in schools. I believe marijuana legalization is totally claimed. And then MH370's disappearance is also completely claimed. Feel free to reach out to me today in a message if you need me. There are a few of you that I will reach out to regarding missing work before I send grade reports. Otherwise, enjoy your virtual learning today. Peace.